This film presents discussions as they occurred at the time. Statements reflect concerns and viewpoints raised during those meetings and are shown for accountability and public interest. No allegation of extremist belief or intent is made against any individual shown. The more serious matter that I wanted to get into, I wanted to bring to attention your attention to this badge. I just wanted to know if you're aware of it. And you see it?
Yes.
Are you aware of this badge?
It's worn by police officers, is it not?
Okay, I'll explain it to you because not a lot of people in the UK are aware of it. So it's basically the thin blue line badge, and it's essentially the British version of this badge, which is the American thin blue line badge. I did a bit of research on it, and apparently the thin blue line badge in America, it has ties to the Blue Lives Matter organization, who were created as a reaction to the Black Lives Matter movement. So they're essentially have ties to white supremacy and neo-Nazism. And I'm aware that a lot of officers wear it proudly and openly. And I did do a little bit of digging, and I did put together a sort of mini documentary regarding this badge by sort of, speaking to officers politely, not antagonistically, politely, and asking them what their feelings of the badge were. And unsurprisingly to me, a lot of them were aware that it had neo-Nazi origins.
Weren't at all, were.
I'd like to play you a little bit of it, and I just want to show you a clip of this. So Sergeant Gibb has glasses, and you're about to see him. Just listen to the sort of tone that he has when I speak to him about what his badge represents, and I think it's very telling. So can you see it?
I would remove it though. No, you don't want to. How many officers were killed in the line of duty in the past year?
In the last year? Don't know.
One. One. And you're desecrating the graves of about 35 million people who died in World War II just to pay tribute to one officer. You don't have any comment on that? So there will be probably Jewish people seeing this documentary, and right now you're wearing a badge that represents the killing of 6 million or the extermination of 6 million Jewish people. Is there anything you want to say to those people?
So obviously I was behind the phone filming that interview, which he gave, to be fair, he gave voluntarily, but he didn't seem to be that fazed by the fact that he was wearing a neo-Nazi badge, and the way that he spoke there about the Holocaust, he almost felt that it was a frivolous sort of non-issue. And objectively, the Holocaust, I think we can all agree in this chat, is a very horrific thing in history. So I don't feel, to put it bluntly, I don't feel safe that a sergeant who has that little emotional impact by the Holocaust I don't feel safe in that person's protection. And I do feel that there is some truth in them wearing this badge. So what is your opinion on that? By the way, I just wanted to say the argument that the police officers have for wearing it is that they believe that it represents their fallen officers on the line of duty, but obviously that's their side of it.
Yeah.
Could I come in on it? Yeah, I can come in on that. So there was some press last year where the Commissioner of the Met Police in London basically informed all the officers not to wear the badge for the reasons outlined. So we've made queries to GMP just in terms of what their policy is around this. I can just update you all now just to say that the uniform policy of GMP in terms of what the officers should and shouldn't wear doesn't explicitly talk about this badge, because there's hundreds of badges that officers can put on the lapels and on the uniform. But what it does say is that unless it's used for a particular reason, or it's been kind of approved across GM as a force by the chief constable, that they shouldn't be wearing anything without seeking approval first. So there's an issue there in terms of officers wearing something that they've chosen to put on, regardless of what it means to them. But there isn't, GMP don't have a particular, it's all on a case-by-case basis, so they haven't had any information or specific examples drawn to their attention. So I suppose the question here is whether we do draw that to their attention. But the policy is very clear that they shouldn't be wearing anything without senior officer approval first. But they haven't had any instances of this particular badge being raised to them at this moment in time. That's not to say they won't do, but they haven't done at the moment.
So this is, in some ways, Dave, the first time that it's been raised with us, as far as you're aware.
Yes. Yeah.
And GMP are saying the same. I mean, what I can say on that kind of front is, I understand your concern about it, by the way. Generally, the Chief Constable has a policy of badges not being worn. Now, that has caused concern, let's say, in the LGBT community, because he asked that, pride insignia not be worn because of police neutrality, I think, is the point. That the police shouldn't be associated. The police should be there for everybody, and they're not looking like it's more for one community than another, I think is the point. And it would seem, therefore, consistent with that, others, I think you're indicating, Dave, maybe it's this general approach, isn't it? But it's whether we kind of seek a more formal view from them about this on the back of your inquiry, which I'm prepared to do.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I think with badges and lanyards, as you've said, Andy, there, in terms of there's so many of them out there, the matter has been referred to GMP's internal ethics committee to see what policy should reflect in terms of that, because it impacts a lot of different officers who want to wear different colours and things on their uniform to represent their associations, and this is one of many, but it is obviously important to include that. So it's being looked at internally within GMP, but I think it's absolutely right. We could ask the question as to where that's up to with specific reference to this badge, given the feelings behind it, absolutely.
Would you want me to do that for you?
Yeah. I think that it should be a public. I think you should do so publicly, because I think what it stands for is quite horrific.
I'll be honest with you. I've seen the badge. I've seen that symbol that you showed. I was not aware of those wider connotations, though, that you've raised. So I think it's right that we do what Dave. Yeah, we're absolutely prepared to follow up your concern about it. So let's do that. As I say, the chief has a general policy of people not wearing badges and insignia. So it kind of feels to me that to follow the logic of that, then this would fall into that. But I don't know. Let's pursue that and get a clearer answer for you if that sounds all right.
The following footage documents continued use of the symbol after this meeting. No connection is alleged between the badge and any act of violence. 1. I just wanted to ask you about your badge. Are you allowed to wear it still?
This?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm allowed to wear it, yeah.
So you've not had an order to have it removed?
No.
No? Okay.
2.
1.
Yeah.
Have you got an order to remove it? No.
Just means thin blue line. That's all it means.
Yeah. 3. 4. 5. Are you still allowed to wear that badge? The thin blue line badge?
Pardon?
Have you had an order to have it removed?
No.
6. 7. Following the synagogue attack on the 2nd of October 2025. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15, 16.
Just quickly, so in your mayoral election flyer from April, it said, I don't have a picture of it here, but it said from 2010 to 2017, the Tories cut 2,000 police officers from GMP and crime went up. When Andy was elected in 2017, he stopped the cuts and there are now more than 1,600 officers in GMP. Andy promised to turn around GMP, and that is what he has done by investing in more officers and changing the leadership. We now have named and contactable neighbourhood policing teams across coming to every ward in Manchester. So I just wanted to know, you hired 1,600 GMP officers. What vetting processes did you have when picking people and making sure that they didn't have extremist ideology such as Nazism, or were susceptible to these types of ideologies?
They do have pretty extensive vetting processes, Dave. I think you could probably say more about that. It's not to say that they are faultless, but I do know that GMP have quite significant efforts in this way, and lots of people are prevented from pursuing an application for those reasons. I think the thing I would say is we did lose a lot of police officers in that period that you mentioned, and as we built back up, I think that following some of the concerns around the Sarah Everard case, I think there's been a sort of a look again at the whole issue and whether things are strong enough. And perhaps when there was a sort of rush to recruit again, I think there was a feeling, I don't know, there's been a sort of look back at whether or not things have been strong enough. Dave, is there anything more you could? But there are, to answer your question, very significant vetting procedures.
Okay.
As Mayor and Police and Crime Commissioner, Andy Burnham holds ultimate political responsibility for oversight of Greater Manchester Police. When asked directly about vetting against extremist ideology, his response appears vague, deferred, and lacking in clear personal accountability. When serious, repeated concerns emerge within a police force, public confidence depends on clear-cut answers and responsibility at the very top. This exchange raises questions about how seriously that responsibility is being exercised by Mr. Burnham.
And then in terms of the new chief constable we've got, he's kind of had a phrase of rooting and booting in terms of only having the best people in Greater Manchester Police. And I think the number of people we're moving out of the police force and the policing family because they're not suitable to be in policing roles has increased a lot this year. So they are making specific efforts to make sure that we've got the right people policing our communities.
Again, this response remains vague, defers responsibility, and does not clearly identify who is ultimately accountable for preventing unsuitable individuals from entering the police force.
On the insignia, we will follow that up as a result of this meeting. You are the first person to raise it directly with me, but given what Dave has said about the Met, I think you're raising a point that requires a proper considered response, which is what we will make sure you get on the back of what you've said.
Following this initial meeting, I myself sent an email to the Chief Constable's office to raise awareness of the thin blue line at senior level and to make it clear that the wearing of such a badge had no place on the uniforms of police officers. This response was given to me by Inspector Adam Wilkinson of the Chief Constable's office on the 12th of December 2024. The wearing of the thin blue line badge is something which is currently under review by chief officers within GMP. By way of explanation as to why nothing has been released as yet, this is due to this being something we are looking to do in alignment with other forces so that the message is clear to all, and therefore there is no quick outcome, I'm afraid. Once we have a clear view and policy around this, we will ensure officers are notified and Greater Manchester Combined Authority are updated on this.
And then there was the whole question of the badge issue that I've looked at as well, which I've got an update for you there. Should we start on the first issue, Dave? Do you want to? I mean, we have asked for everything to be reviewed, haven't we, at a senior level from a GMP point of view?
We have, yes. So thanks for that. So you'll be aware when you contacted the Chief's office last week and got a response from the Chief Staff Officers directly, which I was copied into.
Yes, I attached you in the email chain. Yeah.
Are you in some way assured there that there is a proper process now to look at that? I mean, they have taken on board that it needs to be looked at.
I'm not at all convinced that GMP are doing anything about this badge, because they've almost passed the parcel to other districts' police to make the decision on their behalf.
Well, they are looking at it, and I'm expecting to have a report on it. So I think you have opened up an issue that has needed to be looked at. So we are going to do that. I mean, I think, if it weren't for your intervention, I'm not sure that would be happening. So, I will provide you with an update on that in the new year. And I'm possibly we can refer it to the broader external ethics committee once we have that internal report. So no, I'm very open to looking fully at that issue in terms of what it implies. I didn't know all of the background to the badge until you explained. So on that one, I think you have moved that one forward, and I think that's to your credit. If you wanted to send anything to us following this in terms of those images that we were discussing, I'm happy to receive any further complaints or evidence from you. I will come back to you about the badge issue, because you have put that on my radar. I want to see that issue through. You say that you don't expect to hear anything. Well, you will do, because we are going to see that one through. So that's one that we have to thank you for, because it does need to be considered, and it will be.
I don't believe GMP will do anything about the thin blue line badge, and I don't believe anything will change. I'm sorry, but I might send you that evidence, but I've kind of given you a shot, and I'm at the moment I'm not well enough to pursue this. I'm deplete of energy. I can't go any further. Are you with the BBC? Yeah. What's it about?
Tram fares.
Tram fares? Oh.